Hey guys, good to be back in the shed working on Lance. This episode we're going to get in and finish off the winch bar. Got all the steel I need, and obviously I've got the winch. There is an episode of a full rundown and unboxing. Really stoked with that. It's going to look bloody awesome. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Righto, time to go. It's not flash, we pushed on too far and now the pub's shut. It's 10 past 10. I reckon you're a bigger bogan. It's about at this point you really question your life choices. This one's definitely going to catch on fire. Pretty bad. Right, if all else fails.
Yeah, that's right. Don't tell people that we know we don't know what we're doing. Are you putting that on the video now?
Don't forget, when installing new suspension like this, make sure you lube your pin. Actually sounded like I knew what I was talking about for once. It's rare. Oh! So as you know, we did start this bar quite a few episodes ago, and then I was waiting on the winch to turn up so I could finish the mounting position for the winch and all the little pieces that I need to hold the fair lead. So I come down into the shed one night and we made some templates up out of a bit of plastic just to get the general design and look right. I can then transfer those measurements and make them out of steel. So that's where we're at, guys. Let's get into it and break out the angle grinder and just start cutting all those little pieces I need. Get them ready, clean them up, and then we start welding it all together, and hopefully it comes together and looks like what I'm hoping for. I'm really stoked to do this one, a bit more creative, less nuts and bolts, and more actually making something. So all this steel plate we're cutting up is 4, 5 and 6 mil, and I'm only using an angle grinder, and I hope this shows you guys at home that you can build something really cool and something you can be proud of with some fairly basic tools. The welder is the most expensive tool you can buy to do these sorts of jobs, and look, it's something you'll have for probably the rest of your life. So if you're hesitant in doing this, please watch me. And I am far from an expert, I'm far from trained in this. Most of this stuff is self-taught and just mucking around with it and having a go. The old 4-inch angle grinder, or I've upgraded it to 5-inch these days. You can get a really good quality angle grinder for around $150. So pretty much once you've got an angle grinder, you can cut any piece of steel. It just takes longer when it's thicker, and you just persevere with it. Don't be scared to have a go, guys, and I really hope this channel is inspiring people to get out and just do something they wouldn't normally do. This isn't my everyday job, but it's really enjoyable. Righto, so that's the general design I'm going to go with for the fair lead. I think it looks pretty trick. Gives the bar a bit more shape. Look, it's really a subjective thing. I know there'll be guys out there that'll love it, will hate it, but it's mine, and that's not what this is about. This is about just having a go yourself and creating something quite complex with some very basic tools and having a bit of fun while we're doing it. So I've got quite a few angles going on. So when the bar goes on the ute, the ends kick up ever so slightly. The winch plate then angles back below level from that. So I've kicked these plates up. So the actual fair lead will sit vertical because the bar won't be vertical and the winch plate will be the opposite of that. So we've got a few angles going on, which is good. We want it to look a bit more complex than just a straight flat bit of bar on it. That's why we cut the wings off the bar too, so we'll get in and weld them up. So I'm going to bolt the fair lead to the fair lead brackets that I've made, so I know that they're going to be in line. That's blunt. Oh my god, the phone is off its head. Hello, good yourself? No. Yep. Oh no. Nah. Yeah. No dramas. See you, mate. Right, before we go ahead and weld these on, I do have to fix a little stuff up. I cut the back side of this side and the front side of this one, so we'll weld that front up, grind it back, make it look pretty again. Righto, so I've got a rag just sitting over the fair lead itself so we don't damage it too much, or we don't want to damage it at all. If I weld the back side of these cleats here, the way it's sitting, it shouldn't, maybe the front side. Just trying to work out, we don't want to tack weld it and be too slow about it and then it cools, shrinks and moves. So I'm just going to run around and try and put a few tacks on both sides of one cleat at a time. Then we'll have a look at it, do the next one and continue on that way. So we need it to be pretty accurate. Wouldn't be the same if you didn't have a fire. That went pretty good. I think it'll look pretty trick. Sweet. So I have said in the past, I only use gasless wire. I'm a bit of a home, hobbyist, handyman. It's so much easier than going out and getting the argon gas and having the gas bottle and getting it refilled. And yes, the wire is a lot dearer, but it's so much more convenient. And you can get a good finish with gasless wire. It's debatable whether I can, but I'm gonna have to try it here today because I can't grind these internal welds. I want just a nice weld and I want to leave it at that. So when it's powder coated, you can see that, I have welded it, and you'll probably be able to tell that it hasn't been a professional job, but hey, I'm having fun. This is part of it. Gasless wire does get extremely hot and ends up melting to the tip. So I've done a fair bit of welding and before it become a problem, but my line is getting a bit sad, so I've gone to refeed it and it gets caught up. Really frustrating when you're halfway through something, and now I've got to pull the whole handle apart. But this is, I'm afraid, all part of it. Fucking serious. Okay, we're back. Yeah, very painful when that happens, but it's a thing. Okay, so I just finished welding this out. And then we can turn it over and weld those wings that I cut off. And that's still on grind setting, so I'm just got one. Awesome. Righto, so that's basically the fair lead mount. I'm going to put a winch cradle underneath it. So obviously that bit of 4mm plate that's going back towards the front of the car here is not strong enough to just take the winch on its own. So I've got some 5mm by 50mm angle, or I think it's 40mm anyway. And it's going to be a separate piece. And we'll make that up to go underneath that winch plate, and the winch will bolt through that plate, down through the angle, which will also be attached to that front cross member on the car. So yeah, we'll jump under, measure up some bits for that, and start mocking that up as well. Okay, so that's the final piece. I've tacked this center piece in, but before we do that, this is the plate that will bolt on the front here. So to be able to get this bolt in over this side, we're going to notch a little bit out of the bottom of the plate so I can get my hand into this hole. This one will be right because we've got this hole here, but this one will be impossible to get at, and I'll be cursing myself later. So let's notch a bit out of the bottom of this plate before we go welding it on, eh? Right, we have a big hole there. That will give me plenty of access. So once we weld this on, we'll weld another piece across the top to stiffen that little skinnier edge off. And yeah, it should be sweet. Right, before we go nuts welding it, we've got to make sure it's going to what I was hoping for. That is dead set perfect. Righto, I might just make some more little gussets for it, tack them in, I'll show you what they look like, and then we'll weld that out. Righto, I've finished welding that right out. I think that's strong enough. I mean, there's not a lot of science in this other than trying to just overkill everything. I would suggest bull bars don't go back to a center cross member like that. So I think that'll be strong enough. We'll weld that out and move on to the next step. I've got a few little touches I want to do to this bar before we're finished yet. We're not quite there yet. to weld some square section in to basically take a front rack if I ever need to use it to carry any longer planks or anything like that. I mean, I doubt it'll be a workmobile, but the other thing I'm thinking is I can put a rack in it and run the winch up over the rack and pull the boat up onto the top of the old boy. So a rooftop tinny on that would be pretty cool. You never know, things could happen. So I'm trying to think of everything now. Once this is powder coated, I'm going to leave it. And yes, I am going to powder coat it. I know I've changed my mind on that about 20 times, but we are going to do that. So I really want to make sure I've got everything on it. And I don't want to change anything down the track. Every vehicle I've owned, I've ended up having to put a front rack on it for some reason. I'm a carpenter by trade, so carrying planks and things. So we're going to incorporate it into the bar, and we'll go to a little bit of effort here and make it look pretty. Well, I think I'm done with the welder. We'll have a look at it. It's a pretty intense amount of welding and grinding to get something that is functional yet strong, that looks nice. Alright, so we'll attempt to fit it. We'll get the bar on and then put the winch cradle up in underneath and start marking out some bolt holes. Probably only get one chance at that, so hopefully we don't bugger it up. Right, these will not be the bolts I'm using, but we'll get plenty of bolts in it to make sure it's located in the right position. So any of you guys out there that don't know what that little fella is, that's called a step drill bit. And these have probably only come into my life in the last couple of years. And if you do any stuff around in the shed and a bit of a handyman, these are life-changing. And especially if you're going away traveling, you could probably get away with taking 2 or 3 of these and doing away with a whole drill kit. As you can see, it does multiple sizes, but the beauty of it is it does such a neat hole. It doesn't wander and carry on, and it chamfers the hole at the same time. There are a lot of benefits to the old step bit. You do have to watch, you don't go too far obviously, so you have to keep checking the depth of your hole. Once you do a couple, you realise what you're after and go from there. Right, I'm going to make sure I can get a 12mm drill bit through these. I'm going to put 4 M12s in this bar and make it super strong. Right, I'll just show you how it leaves the hole. It is really much better than using a drill bit. Chamfers the edge. It is nice and perfectly round. Yes, I'm a big fan of the step bit. Go and get yourself one if you haven't. One thing I will mention is the step drill bit is a lot dearer than buying just one drill bit. Obviously it does a lot more jobs than just one drill bit. But get yourself some Trefolex, some cutting compound, and it'll make it last heaps longer. Yeah, bud. You're gonna be on. That's good. Well, so we've rocked up at Pacific Powder Coating here. Joe's been kind enough to let us in, bring the cameras through and show you guys exactly how all this works. And it looks like you got some pretty new equipment here, Joe.
Yeah, mate. We just had a new oven and booth and rail system installed by Garnick.
Yeah.
They're in Melbourne.
Yep.
They go all over Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, great guys. Took them 2.5 weeks from flat pack to install this whole line.
Yeah, nice. But you guys have been here for quite a while.
Yeah. Look, Roddy's been here for about over 20 years in the balustrade business. He took on powder coating about 7 years ago. Yeah. Back then I used to own the line before that, and yeah.
Okay.
I've been doing it about 40 years.
So you know,
age.
you know your way around it, mate.
Been doing it a long time.
Awesome. So, look, I really don't know all this. I know powder coating is quite popular in the automotive industry.
Yeah.
Why powder coat as opposed to paint?
Okay. Paint, powder coat. Paint far superior, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
But powder
That's
coating.
good honest. That's a good honest.
No,
answer.
100%.
Yeah.
Powder coating is a fast, productive way of putting a coating on a product. Because back in the day, I think it was ARB had a plant years ago, and they'd manufacture one end, finish making it, hang it up, powder coat it, put it on vehicles, dispatch it, all in one go. So as soon as your items are cool, you can do what you want with them.
Obviously, there's got to be benefits in durability.
Depending on what you're using your product for, as bull bars, so steel bars, well, we zinc coat them first after they're blasted, and then we will put a medi-prep, and then we'll put your top coat on. So it's a 3-coat process, which is going to last a lifetime. Honestly, a long time.
Yeah.
My lifetime anyway. So.
No, I mean, and that's a real answer, and that's why the automotive industry has used powder coating so long.
Yeah, that's a fast, productive way.
Okay, awesome. Everyone probably owns something that has been powder coated, but how the freaking hell do you actually do it? And is it that literal? Is it powder?
These powders, you have a few different types. What we use mainly is polyester.
Yep.
Like the polyester coating. It goes through a gun. It's drawn up through the tube of the gun. We use a box feed, call it box feed. We put the box down, tube goes in it, and if there's electrode in the end of the gun, spray it on. Away you go.
Yeah. So then, once it's sprayed, what happens then?
Generally, it just goes into the oven, bakes for the required time that the powder's needed to bake for, and then comes out. Then if we have to do another coat on it, we'll just coat it again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you can coat over the top of powder coat.
We do a lot of aluminium, so we pre-treat our aluminium with acid rinse. Then we use a oxalate now, which is a low chrome. We used to use chromat before, but that's going out the door. Hard to get rid of the effluent, treat it, and it's a lot of money. So we've gone with one. We've got a reverse osmosis plant in there, which treats our water and gives us the cleanest aluminium to coat. It's fantastic. You let your kids swim in it, like the final rinse for ours.
Your kids, not mine.
They're grown up, so they could.
Then you let them swim in whatever.
Anyway, then we have a drying process. Hang the aluminium up, spray it for the customer, whether it be windows. We do a lot of canopies and stuff like that. So balustrades. What else do we do? We actually do a lot of military stuff as well.
Military stuff. Well, I had a question. What's the weirdest thing you've powder coated? If you've been doing this for that long, it's probably a hard question.
Mate, I get annoyed with bicycle frames and mag wheels. Everybody wants them done, and it's cheaper just to go and buy a new set. To be honest, unless you've got a set you really, really love. Mate, these days that is what it is.
That is a sad part of life these days. It is cheaper to buy new stuff.
Yeah, throwaway society we live in now. Mate, I've worked at Christmas Day powder coating. Mate, we did Australia's Wonderland years ago when it opened up. We were doing colonial castings, and they needed to open Boxing Day for Australia's Wonderland. I'm talking late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, we came in and powder coated cast. It was a cast room where you could sit and have your coffee and tea and that sort of thing after you walked around and played on the fun park. And they needed to have it done no matter what. The Boxing Day opening, we powder coated Christmas Day.
Yeah, right. So So Joe's saying if you need anything done, he's happy to work Sundays. Is that what you
No.
just said?
Yeah, not at all.
All right, well, let's go and follow the whole process, getting the bull bar coated on old Lance here. It's already been sandblasted, and we'll get in and follow the whole process through, and Joe can show us exactly how it works.
No worries.
I think by finish was good enough for the boys. Takes good, mate. Match complete. That's sweet. Freaking hot.
Yeah, I don't want it to be too hot. If it goes on above sort of 80 degrees, anything above 80 degrees, it's going to start to cure, melt, basically, and then you're going to start to potentially get runs. So this just eliminates that chance of having any runs in your paint.
Righto, so it's just gone in the oven again. What was the second coat all about,
A
mate?
many press.
Metal prep.
Yeah, it's it's an epoxy primer.
Yep.
Basically to stop any water getting to the zinc that causes the rust. Then we put a top coat, finishes the job.
You think they'd be quiet for us while we did this, eh? Cake is cooked. Woo. Go and have a look. Yeah, bud. Man, looks awesome. I can't thank Joe at the Powder Coaters enough Pacific Powder Coaters, they were just more than happy to let me in with the cameras and show off this whole new system they just put in. It was perfect timing, and I really learned something out of it. I hope you guys did too. I found it really interesting, the way the whole process worked. And to celebrate getting that bar finished and bolted on, I put both the guards back on. I've gone out and splurged on some new headlights. I think they look mint. They're steady, original factory replacements. They look modern without looking, you know, too crazy. So I'm really pumped with that. We've got the carbon winch sat in place. If you haven't seen the video, there's a full rundown video of that. And it just looks bloody awesome. I'm pumped. Really happy with what I was able to create with an angle grinder and a welder. And hopefully it inspires you guys at home to get out there in your shed and have a crack. And I've really had a ball doing it. Anyway, let's have a good look at it. Just quickly, I want to mention to all our sponsors, with none of them, this wouldn't be possible. All 4x4 spares, they've been fantastic to deal with. If you need any spares for your four-wheel drive, make sure you go and check those guys out. Deep Cycle System batteries, we'll be using their products very shortly. We'll get all that electrical sorted, get those lights working. Can't wait to do that. And of course, the wheel deal, supplying those wheels and tyres. So the whole thing's starting to really come together and look like my vision that I had. And without our supporters and suppliers, we wouldn't have anything. And of course, you guys at home, without you watching, we wouldn't have been able to even think about doing this. So we really appreciate the support. We appreciate all the comments you guys give us. And look, wherever we can give back, we will. We got a discount code off the wheel deal, and we're in discussions to get a few more of those for you out there too, guys. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. Don't forget, you only live once. Get out there and enjoy it. Get into that project.